I think we can all agree that the Blue Jays might have just had a reality check. After going 7-3 on the road trip, in Kansas City, in Baltimore, and in Tampa Bay, and the Jays winning 7 of 10, we thought, my goodness, this team is really starting to, turn the tides and starting to progress really well. And then you face a team like the New York Yankees, a team coming into the ball game of 70-39. They were incredible. They're an amazing ball team. Tons of injuries, but finding ways to win, finding guys like Gio Urshela and Cameron Maybin down in the dumps, and they bring them up in their 330 hitters, apparently. It's just the way the season's going for the Yankees right now. And the Blue Jays saw it firsthand. When you miss your spots as a pitcher against really good hitting teams, they will crush you. That's why the most dominant pitchers in the game, when they have so much movement on their pitches and they're throwing it in good spots, they're lights out. When Chris Sale is having his slider go down and away on righties, when it's biting inside on lefties or way down and away on lefties, it's that good. But if he misses over the middle of the plate, he gets crushed like he did for the early part of this year. So for Thomas Pannone going into today's ball game, look, the story of him was that in the last 2 outings, he had a really great outing 2 outings ago, and then the last one was 1 bad inning. But for Pannone, you look at the very first batter of the ball game, and it's DJ LeMahieu, and he rips a double, and I'm like, okay, it's not a good start. And I got Aaron Judge at the plate. Oh God, he hits a deep fly ball to center, and I'm like, that's not good. And then Gio Urshela comes in, and this could be a mixture of young catching in Reese McGuire and young pitcher in Thomas Pannone, or just poor execution, and that's where I'm leaning towards. Because, look, he put down the signs. That's his brain telling him to do that. They called for the fastball inside on Gio Urshela. You could have gone to the curveball because you needed a strikeout. There was only 1 out. But they're trying to, get him to bite on the fastball inside, maybe even off the plate inside. That's fine. The problem was he didn't really get it inside. It was in, but over the plate. And it was crushed by Urshela deep and gone 2-run shot, and you're down 2-0. And then you go to the top of the 3rd inning. And then just the things just pile on. When you hit the number 9 hitter in this type of lineup, they are going to kill you. And, Breivik Valera, actually a guy who I actually watched in A-ball way back in the day. If you guys remember me talking about how I used to see Brock Holt play as well. I actually saw Breivik Valera play a few times, not too much because I wasn't there watching his team. It was, he had the gist of it. Anyways, he gets hit. That brings up LeMahieu, Judge, and all this stuff, and that turns into a 6-run inning. I'm not saying if you got Valera to start the inning that you would have had a 0 and you'd be right in the ball game. I'm not saying that. But it's a totally different scenario when you have nobody on and 1 out for DJ LeMahieu at the plate or a runner at first base with nobody out for DJ LeMahieu. And it turns into a 6-run inning. Pannone only gets 1 out in that inning. He goes 2 1/3, gives up 6 hits, 7 runs. All 7 were earned. He gives up 2 home runs to Gio Urshela. Both really meatballs down the middle that he crushed. BP fastballs from Thomas Pannone. It was just an awful performance from his part. He was not executing pitches very well at all. And he just did not look good. And for me personally, as not a huge Thomas Pannone fan, I think these are the type of games we look at and you're like, you know what? If we're going to be a World Series contending team, I don't know if we want a guy like that in there. Maybe a bullpen guy is kind of like a lefty-lefty specialist kind of deal with that nice curveball. Maybe. But as a starter, I don't know. For Thomas Pannone, it's just not for me at least. All right, I want to hear your guys' thoughts maybe on that whole spiel. We got to see newest Blue Jays Zach Godley on the mound. He got thrown into an awful situation. But he went 3 innings, he got 5 hits, 3 runs. All 3 were earned. And struck out 3. So not the greatest outing for Zach Godley, but the only positive pitching moment is Jason Adam, who went 2 2/3 of 1-hit ball. Look, you can't hit on every single waiver pickup. You got, I want to say Zach Stewart, but I know I'm wrong with that. The guy who pitched in the last game. I'm going to bring him up. Brock Stewart. You hit on him, at least for that one game. Wilmer Font's been great lately. And Jason Adams has been pretty damn good since he's been called up. Ideally, it's been in very, very, a small sample size. It's only been 6 2/3. I'm just going to pick it up here for Jason Adams. 5 2/3 even. So, yeah, he has an ERA of 1.59. That's great, but it's only in 5 innings. He gives him a 3 spot. It's in the 8s. So, let's just pump the brakes a little bit maybe on Jason Adams, just a tad bit. But, he did a good job today against the New York Yankees. Yeah, I get it. There was a blowout game at that point anyways. But it allowed the Jays to crawl back into it. And with Zach Godley on the mound, doing an all right job early on, you want to put up zeros on a consistent basis. You want to. You kind of have to when you're down by 8 early on in the ballgame. You know what I mean? And the Blue Jays, they don't quit. And that's what we've learned about this young Blue Jays team. They do not quit. Down 8-0, all right? 8-0 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Derek Fisher comes up and on a 2-0 pitch, pulls the ball in the right field, and it's gone. Estimated 416 feet. His second home run in as many days. And the Blue Jays are on the board. It's 8-1. It doesn't really mean anything, but there you go. Couple batters later, though, Reese McGuire, and what a day at the plate Reese McGuire had. I mean, he had a pass ball, which ended up being a run, so that kind of sucked behind the plate. And but I mean, what a day at the plate. He went 4 for 4, did Reese McGuire. But anyways, he gets on base for Bo Bichette. And Bo Bichette gets a fastball 93 miles an hour in the inner half of the plate from Domingo Germán. And he pulls it, and he crushes it down the line. Without the facing of the third deck, Bo Bichette has some pop. And we saw it there today, his 4th home run of the year. And he continues the extra base hit streak. He's been incredible. And it's now an 8-3 ball game. I mean, it's still a ways to go, but you never know. Then Biggio gets on. Then Gurriel Jr. hits a single, and Biggio comes in to score. And we're like, okay, it's 8-4. They just cut it in half. Is it doable? I don't know about that. But we always say it, guys. You guys know how we talk about it. When you score runs, you want a 0 afterwards. After that 4-run inning by the Blue Jays, Zach Godley goes out there and gives up a 2-run single to DJ LeMahieu. So half of the runs you got, gone. It's now a 10-4 game, and that little comeback that you had coming, that's nowhere to be found anymore. But the Blue Jays, again, they still fight with Reese McGuire on. Bo Bichette doubles his center field. He gets another double. This guy is a freak. He's got 2 hits in the ball game, 2 extra base hits, and McGuire comes in to score, making it a 10-5 ball game. And then in the bottom of the 8th inning, keep it going, Reese. He hits a solo shot to right field down the line, and it's gone, making it 10-6. And then they make it 12-6 to a 2-run single by Tauchman in the 9th inning. But other than that, that's the ball game. So we know the pitching was awful. We get that. And for the Blue Jays, we're talking about minor leagues and we're talking about that kind of stuff. That's really the one thing we look at. We're like, if there's any Achilles heel, that's it for the Blue Jays. Bo Shears was out there. He's not going to be a guy around much longer, really. He went in and gave it 3 hits and 2 runs. He gave the Tuckman 2-run single, and that's that. Jason Adams did a good job. Godley and Pannone were not great. Bo Shears was god-awful once again. So you look at positives from a game like this, and one is Jason Adams going 2 2/3 of 1-hit ball against the New York Yankees. That's pretty good if you ask me. Offensively, what did we see? Well, Bo Bichette continues to go crazy. He now ties the big league record for extra base hits to start a rookie campaign. To start your career, really. And you know who he tied? If I'm not mistaken, Ted Williams, Hall of Famer. The other 2 names on the list, they're all dead, all 3 guys. The things were done before the 1940s. That tells you how dominant Bo Bichette has been. He went 2 for 5 in the game today. We already talked about the hits he had. Had 3 RBIs, the home run, the run scored. The guy's hitting .408 on the year. He has his 4th home run, 9th double. We had 3 RBIs today? Yeah, 3. He's got 7 RBIs, 7 runs scored. Bo Bichette continues to impress on a day-to-day basis. and I'm loving it. All right, Kevin Beach went 0 for 4 when he walked and came home to score on the Gurriel single. Speaking of Gurriel, he went 2 for 5 in the ball game. Good to see him get back in the hit column because he's been struggling. He had the home run yesterday in the Tampa series, in the finale of that game. And to see him go 2 for 5 today against a really good Yankees team, it's good to see, you know. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., guys, went 1 for 5, and the one hit he did have was a hanger, and he crushed it into left field for a base hit. But other than that, not a great game for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like I said, 1 for 5. Freddie Galvis went 2 for 5 in the ball game. And Grichuk, after having a great road trip, goes 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts in the game today. And Derek Fisher, like we talked about, back-to-back games with a home run. He went 1 for 4 with the home run and obviously the RBI and the run scored from the home run. He's hitting .217 on the year, up his average, 2 points. But he got another home run, and it's great to see for Derek Fisher. What we are noticing with him, he's not a bad outfielder other than getting clunked in the head. We all get, or in the face, I guess. But other than that, he looks pretty good. He's got lots of speed. He's got power. Who have we said this about before? Teoscar Hernandez. And I mean, it wasn't speed, it was an arm for him. You can't teach speed. You can't teach power. So the rest of it is all about learning and adjusting. Now, I mean, Teoscar Hernandez obviously hasn't developed the way we all hoped he would. But he hasn't been terrible. He's been a lot better this year than last season in my eyes. And for Derek Fisher, it's all about development and growing and getting better. And to see him get home runs in back-to-back games, and Domingo Germán, who's had a pretty good season for the Yankees this year, to get a home run off of him as well, it's good to see. And he crushed it too. So positive baby steps for Derek Fisher. Now, the man of the night offensively, other than Bo Bichette breaking records left and right, Reese McGuire went 4 for 4 with 3 runs scored and an RBI. His batting average going into the ballgame was 143. Leaving the ballpark, it's 280. All right. Attaboy, Reese. If we can start seeing that on a consistent basis, Danny Jansen, bud, your job might be in jeopardy because I understand you're a great catcher. So is Reese McGuire. And neither of them have shown an ability to hit yet. Now, ideally, 1 4 for 4 game is not really going to do anything when it comes to that standpoint. But to see him go 4 for 4 in this game today, is this kind of a things to come? Holy smokes, a sign of things to come for Reese McGuire with the Blue Jays? I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, but that's why we take it day by day. Game 2 of the 4-game series, against the New York Yankees goes tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the 7:07 first pitch at Rogers Center once again. Former Blue Jay Jay Happ on the mound for the Yankees. Sean Reid-Foley on the mound for the Blue Jays in Game 2. All right, so Sean Reid-Foley, again, he's a guy that I think could possibly be a piece of this rotation in the future. Only 23 years old, has shown last year that he dominated AAA, has shown flashes of great things in the big leagues this season, only at 23 years of age. Could be 24 now, I'm not too sure, actually. Is he 23 or 24? I know he was 23 last time I looked. He's still 23. So for Sean Reid-Foley, look to continue to develop and continue to get better, and if there's no better team to face if you're trying to, match yourself against the best. It's the New York Yankees, and that's tomorrow night at 7:07 at Rogers Center. Let's quickly go down to the minor leagues, and in AAA Buffalo, great to see Anthony Alford back with the Buffalo Bisons. He went 2 for 4 in the ball game. Didn't miss a beat. Went 2 for 4. He's hitting .260 on the year. And can we talk about Rowdy Tellez for a second? Rowdy Tellez went 3 for 3 with a walk and a run scored in this one. He's hitting .366. I think this guy's ready to come back up to the big leagues. My goodness, he's just tearing it apart down there. And I love Justice Smoke, and I love the whole smoke bomb bit that I do on the channel here. But Big Rowdy is tearing it up, and Justice Smoke just isn't really doing much. He's barely over 200 hitter now. So that's what you got to look at, right? And any other positives down there? TJ Zook had a great start. He had 7 shutout innings. Everything was going fantastic. And then he just caved in and blew up in the 8th inning, giving up 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. That was the total line of the 7 1/3 that he had. In that 8th inning, guys, he could only get 1 out. And that's the tough part for TJ Zook. His ERA would have dropped a mile if he didn't allow those runs, but it did drop by like .04 or some stupid number like that. Tough one for TJ Zook, but maybe a little bit of positive moving forward because he hasn't really had a lot of great starts down there in AAA Buffalo, and to see him have a great first 7 innings, I don't know why they threw him out there. What was his pitch count? He was only at 92. He was really efficient, was TJ Zook there in AAA in the outing today. But it was really tough to watch him screw up there. Honestly, if he got through that inning scoreless, they probably would have fired him out there for the 9th inning because they had 92 pitches after giving up 4 runs. If he didn't allow 4, man, this guy could have been out there. He could have got a complete game. But that's the way baseball goes. You gotta keep pitching. Yeah, you get in a groove, but you can't sit back. And maybe that's what he did. He got roughed up though. All right. Let's go down to the Double-A New Hampshire Fisher Cats, who played this afternoon, and on the mound was. Oh gosh, I forgot his first name. Thomas Hatch, the guy we acquired at the trade deadline here. I don't know which was it. It wasn't the. I think it was the David Phelps trade, if I'm not mistaken. It was either the David Phelps trade. I think it was David Phelps. I think Daniel Hudson was the guy in Dunedin who pitched today actually. And Thomas Hatch, he wasn't bad. He was not bad at all there in Double-A New Hampshire there today. Went 5 1/3, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, walked 2, and struck out 6. Thomas Hatch was pretty good down there in Double-A New Hampshire there this afternoon, and he looked pretty good. My boy Joshua Palacios, I don't know how you pronounce his name there, in the leadoff spot for New Hampshire, went 1 for 4 with a run scored in the game. Riley Adams went 2 for 3 with a walk. He's hitting .257 now. Keep an eye on this kid. Keep moving up there. 11. Kevin Smith went 1 for 4 with an RBI in the ballgame, hitting .217 on the year. And Spanberger went 1 for 4, and that's about it as they lost 5-1. So it's a little rough one anyways. Down in Dunedin, again, Daniel Hudson's, the player we acquired for Daniel Hudson, Kyle Johnston, he had a rough outing down there in Dunedin, and he went 4 2/3, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, all 4 were earned, walked 2, and didn't even strike out a batter in 4 2/3. I mean, his ERA was like 16 something as a Dunedin Blue Jay going into the game, and he left the game with 11.05, so dropped 5. I mean, I don't know. There's not really many positives I can really take from that outing from him. Tough one there. Travis Young, the leadoff hitter, went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored in the game today for Dunedin. Alejandro Kirk went 1 for 4, and that's about it for the offense. He only had 3 hits in the game. I think Casey Clemens had a hit as well, but that's about it. Yeah, rough one down there for the Dunedin Blue Jays. And in Lansing, they're getting roughed up. And again, what I've noticed with Blue Jays pitching, it ain't just the big leagues. It seems to be one rough inning. Look at TJ Zook earlier today. You look at Juan DePaula. He went 3 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. That's an awful line. But I checked him after 3 innings. He only gave up 1 run. So the bottom line, he gave up 5 runs in 1/3 of an inning afterwards. He caved in and blew up. Juan DePaula, guys, I know we're trying. He was probably the main key cog in the Kevin Pillar trade. He is not looking too good. Looks like Derek Law might be the main key in that trade. Rough one for sure. All right. Offensively, Otto Lopez went 1 for 4 in the ball game. Gabriel Moreno went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. And Griffin Conine 1 for 3 with an RBI. And a couple strikeouts because it wouldn't be a Griffin Conine game with a couple Ks. And I checked his strikeout numbers before the ball game today. Holy smokes, it's bad. 57 games, he had like 94 strikeouts. That is almost double. That is horrendous. But it's all about development, right? So I guess that's what we got to take from that. I'm not too sure. That's a really bad number. All right, down in Vancouver, Alek Manoah's on the mound. And, I see some good things from my boy Alek Manoah. I mean, I haven't checked his stats yet today, but all I know is they've gone 2 innings and haven't allowed a hit yet. So let's see what he's doing. My boy Alek Manoah. Alek Manoah's got 2 innings. Didn't give up a hit. He walked 2, but he struck out 4. Now, I don't know if he's going to go out there for a 3rd inning because it's kind of his 3rd time through the rotation. So maybe he'll go out there again. He went 2 innings. Yeah, excuse me. So I'm great and loving it, and I hope he goes out there in the 3rd inning, gets another shutout inning, and continues to dominate down there in Vancouver because Alek Manoah, he's going to be a beauty. I don't know where he's going to start next year for the Blue Jays. His time in Vancouver is great. I don't know if they're going to start him in Lansing or if they're going to push him right to Dunedin. I don't know how they're going to work it. They might start him in Lansing, and if he dominates like we expect, quick trigger up to Dunedin. It might be that. I don't know how it's going to work for Alek Manoah, but all I know is that I'm so excited to watch this guy pitch. Tons of energy, big fastball, big guy, and he reminds me of Stroman, but he's huge. And I love Alek Manoah. I mentioned him on Instagram, actually, and he replied, really appreciate it. It was really cool to see him reply to me on there. Because, I mean, you know what? As a Blue Jay fan, bringing in these young players that want to be here, he's already embraced himself as a Canadian pretty much, with everything. You know, he's a guy you'll be probably seeing at Leaf games and Raptor games and stuff like that. Like Marcus Stroman. It's what you're going to see, and I love Alek Manoah for it. I can't wait. All right, offensively, I mean, it's only the second inning, so there's really nothing to talk about there. No one has a hit either. And I think we're going to wrap it up because nothing happened in Bluefield. The Gulf Coast League, nope. Deshaun Brown had a day off. Kendall Williams didn't pitch. So that's it. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys did not really enjoy the ball game for the Blue Jays there today. Smack that like button to appreciate that. But if you enjoyed Bo Bichette's game and Reese McGuire's game today, smack that like button as well. Why not do so? Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already, guys. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the minor leaguers, your thoughts on Alek Manoah. Give me a little bit of Alek Manoah talk in the comments below, guys. All right, and check out my main man Mo Buckets on Twitter, Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. No podcast this week for the Blue Jays Wave guys and myself. I'm usually the guest with them on their podcast, but not this week. And I think they're doing one next week, but I'm going to be away. That's right. I mentioned it in like one of the Baltimore games. Tomorrow will be my last video. Hold on, just hear me out. In this location. All right, it's going to be a crazy next week, and we travel out to a few ballparks. Going to go to Camden Yards, see the Baltimore Orioles and Houston Astros play. Going to go to Pittsburgh and watch Pittsburgh, but I think they're playing the Cubs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Go to Nationals Park to watch them play the Cincinnati Reds. Maybe I'll see Trevor Bauer. I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be doing things in the hotels, and you know, it's going to be a crazy next week, guys, when it comes to videos. But just remember that I will be doing them for you, and it's just going to be all over the place where we're going to be doing them, all right? So, guys, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, Blue Jays edition. Twitter is down below, guys. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. I totally missed that. And I'll talk to you guys. It'll be tomorrow night in Game 2 of the 4-game set against the New York Yankees as the Blue Jays look to get back into the win column. Jay Happ on the mound for the Yankees. Sean Reid-Foley on the mound for the Blue Jays. 7:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.